Hi, hello, and welcome back to another video. Once again, we have more Riftbound reveals. But real quick, I just want to say, I was supposed to make a video yesterday or like last night, but me and my mom went to go see Superman. Great movie, by the way. I definitely recommend if you haven't seen it yet. But we watched it. We got home kind of late. I think it was like 6, 7 o'clock, and I just wasn't really feeling up to record a video. I don't want to be fake and just kind of force myself to make a video I don't want to. Yeah, I knew more cards would be coming out today as it is Friday. So, every other day we get new cards, or during the week at least. So I knew more cards were going to be coming out today. And so I wanted to just go ahead and do the cards from today as well, get them all done in one go. And we have a couple champion units. We have a couple of support cards, or cards that support a certain type of playstyle. And we got one new battlefield. So let's go ahead and get into it, starting with this spell card, which is Divine Judgment. This is a order spell card. It is 7 energy for 2 power. And it says each player chooses 2 units, 2 gears, 2 runes, and 2 cards in their hands. Recycle the rest. So clearly, the best way to put this is a I think I would say this is a board wipe, right? It's a board reset, board wipe, because you also recycle your runes as well. And I think that's the big thing here. If it was only like 2 units, 2 cards from your hand, and 2 gear, it wouldn't be that bad, or it wouldn't be like that crazy. But since this is also true runes, this is really resetting the pace of the game. It's I can see a couple order decks running this just because of the fact that you can basically just restart the game to a certain point, or just allow yourself to catch back up if you're falling behind. And it is costly, mind you. It's 7 energy for 2 power. But overall, I would probably want 1 or 2 of this. I would probably want 1 maybe, because this resets a lot. You probably would want run 1, and then if you find it, you find it. If you don't, you don't. I could totally see this being played in a lot of order decks, so I think this is a just fine card. I know some people were complaining. They were saying how they thought this card was bad, or like they didn't know how useful this card would actually be. But it removes gear, and at worst, you could put a sideboard in a competitive match. So I don't really know what they were on about. I think this card is just fine. I think it does have a purpose. Now let's go on to the next one. We have a battlefield here called the Dreaming Tree. It says the first time you choose a friendly unit with a spell here, each turn draw 1. So this is good for your green decks, like your calm decks, maybe blue. I could just see this with any buff. For instance, like maybe if you're playing like yellow or orange that has buffs or anything like that, this would be good. I mean, it's only draw 1 card once per turn, so it's not like a mind-boggling effect, but 1 card is positive. Yeah, I could totally see if you're playing like a green deck with heavy buffs and just heavy buffs and just a lot of control around battlefield. I could see this being at least semi-useful to draw cards. But right now, I feel like green has Targon's Peak, and they just have some pretty good ones. I don't know exactly right now where this would fit in, but we'll see. Next one, we have a new unit. This is Ava Achiever. This is a 5 energy, 4 might unit. It says when I attack, you may pay 1 blue power to play a card with hidden from your hand here, ignoring its cost. Interesting. So first off, I would say this reminds me of a Teemo card. But what's really curious about this card is that you may pay 1 mind power, or 1 mind, to play a card with hidden from your hand, ignoring its cost. And mind you, how it reads, this is not your standard, because maybe you're out there thinking well, that's all hidden cards, right? The hidden cards already do that. But this is saying you may play a hidden card from your hand, when he attacks, you may play the hidden card from your hand. So for instance, just to help you imagine, you can have Hidden Blade. This card targets a unit at a battlefield. You kill it, and then your opponent draws 2 cards, or its controller draws 2 cards. But normally it would be 2 energy, 1 power to play that spell card at a action speed. However, with this card, you may only pay 1 power, just like you're hiding it, but you can play it while it's attacking. So it's just a little bit different. Yeah, I like this. I don't know how overly good this will be. I mean, I could totally see Teemo running this. Like I said, maybe if you really want to get a fast aggro, Victor deck, you could run this. I mean, it's a 5 for 4. It's not weak by any means, but I think that this for sure is clearly a Teemo card. I mean, it's a Yordle, right? I think Teemo would probably benefit this for more, like based off of like Teemo himself, like the champion unit Teemo. I think that would be really good option here for only one mine rune. Overall, I like this. I just, my playstyle and Teemo's playstyle just don't add up. So for me personally, as like a content creator, I can't give you like that much Teemo advice or like tell you like oh, this is wonderful to Teemo, because me and his playstyle just do not line up. Yeah, I've tried so many times to make Teemo work for me, but I just can't get around the whole hiding thing. It's just not how I play. So, I'm sure there's other content creators out there that are far better and they can tell you if this card is good or not immediately in Teemo. But I'm sadly not one of them. Okay, next one is another new unit. This is a body unit. It's called Kraken Hunter. Very cool art. It's a 3 energy for 2 power and 5 might. So first off, you have Accelerate, so you can pay 1 more energy and then 1 body power as additional cost to have them enter ready. It has Assault, which just means they gain +1 might while attacking. It says, as you play me, you may spend any number of buffs as a additional cost. Reduce my cost by 1 body for each buff you spend. So basically, this card is a 3 energy, 2 power for 5. However, if you have buffs on the field, this is a body card, so you think you're like Lee Sin decks, your Sett decks. If you have multiple buffs on the field, you can take them away, and this card could only cost like 3 energy for 5 might, which is really awesome. I mean, technically 3 for 6 if you're attacking. I think this card is really good. I think this card is the only issue is Sett likes his buffs, and he likes to keep the buffs on his units so he can protect them. But at the end of the day, for how cheap this card could be, even if it was 3 for 1, getting a 5 might card out early for 3 energy, 1 power is always good. So I could see this really in Lee Sin, because with Lee Sin being able to have infinite buffs on him, I could totally see this, taking away some buffs from Lee Sin just to play this card instantly. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's a 6 while attacking for 3 energy, which is a huge. I mean, you could have Lee Sin on one battlefield, have this one at the other one, and like especially early to mid game, and this card would rock it. So first, I should say next up, we have our first champion unit. Now, mind you, I've been waiting for this card. I've been waiting for Green Leona. I think I've told everyone on my channel by now, I'm a Leona player. I love Leona. I think Leona is such a fun deck. I kind of like being a tank, or like, I like that feeling of kind of being like a tanky, like stun champion. And I think they've killed it with Leona's design. And let me tell you, these 2 artworks I'm putting up on the screen right now are beautiful. I mean, you could, like, if you're opening packs and got either one of these cards, you will not be disappointed. These are both great art, and this is probably one of my first times where both art or both cards art variations are like really good to me, because usually I have one I like more than the other, but these are perfection, and I will have 3 of each in my collection at least. So I'm looking at the skin. What is this called? Eclipse? Is this Eclipse? I forget what this card's name is, but it's like the skin on the darker skin. But this is Leona Zealot. It's the Green Leona finally. It's a 6 energy for 1 power for 6 might. And it says, if an opponent's score is within 3 points of the victory score, I enter ready. So first off, if your opponent's score is 5 or more, this card enters ready, which is already good. Clearly, you're going to be playing this later in the game a lot of times, or at least mid-game to late. And depending on what deck you're going against, let's say I use this example a lot, like Jinx, Darius, Victor. These decks come out fast. They swing really hard and fast as well, and they keep points. And so you might be able to summon this. You're playing this around the same time you're playing Yasuo, but it has the added bonus of becoming in ready if your opponent is winning or like above you in any way. And then the second part of this card is crazy. It says stunned enemy units here have -8 might to a minimum of 1, which is crazy. Like, I was theory crafting with this. Like, you can use the new green spell card or one of the newer green spell cards to stun an enemy before you attack. You can attack with this plus Leona, and that means if you have yellow Leona and then green Leona, you swing for both. Every time you like attack for a battlefield, they just like I find it really hard to I find it really hard to believe that Leona would be able to lose a point like that unless they have like tons of spell cards and tons of reactions. I think get away with it. But I think this card is amazing. This is exactly what Leona needed. I was talking to one of my friends recently that said, yeah, I kind of I've started losing a couple of games here and there as Leona a little bit more because new cards have came out from the other decks or to support the other decks. And I told my friend Leona needs a big body because Leona's like core of her deck right now is really good. And this was the exact card she was missing. She was needing a big body that does something crazy, does something powerful, and it plus Ender's ready, which is one of the issues with Leona. Because she's a quote unquote tank support, you know, she's a little bit of a slower deck overall. So I'm glad to see this card being able to enter ready plus have that amazing effect. I think this is amazing. If you like Leona, if you are a Leona enjoyer like I am, this is like the perfect card for the deck right now. Now next on to our another unit. This is another calm unit. This is a 3 energy for 1 power for 3 might. It says when you play me, if you control Poro, buff me and draw 1. So clearly this can go into any green deck. You know, the Lee Sin, Yasuo, you know, any green deck you can think of. I will say I hope one day we get more Poro cards like this because I would love to make a Poro deck like completely. And do I think this makes Poros better? Maybe. And that is because the green Poro is halfway decent because it's a defender. So I believe, I could be wrong, it's a 2 or 3 might and it gets +1 while defending. So it's a pretty good trade-off for how much energy it costs. I just can't think of this might off the top of my head. But this card is nice. I mean, when you play me, if you control a Poro, I mean, you buff him and draw 1 card. I mean, you're going positive with this. Like, it is 1 power to play him, but you're basically doing a 3 might 1 power for a 4 might card in a and you get to draw a card. So it's not the worst trade deal in the world. And this might make some early games a little bit more consistent for decks that like to use Poros or think about using Poros, because this kind of reminds me of the same card as Clouds Field for body. Like, it's a very similar card where it's like, you know, when you play another card or something, you buff me, but just with the added benefit of drawing 1. I think this is really nice. I think this can make a deck more consistent. And plus, I just love Poros. I love the idea of a Poro deck later on. I hope we eventually, for like a meme or something, I really do hope we get like a Poro legend eventually. I know how crazy that sounds, but I hope we get like something funny like that. I hope they do a couple like funny ones. Like I would love to see a Gromp legend or something. Just some kind of like meme April Fool type cards that would be really fun to have. Now let's go on to the last one, and this is another champion unit. We finally have Orange Sett. He is a 5 energy, 1 power for 4 might, and it says when I'm played and when I conquer, buff me. So that means the moment he is played, he gets a buff. And then when he conquers, he gets a buff. And that means he's always at least a 4 might, basically. He's always a 4 might. And he says, spend my buff, give me +4 might this turn. And this is really interesting, because what I'm seeing here is this is exactly also what Sett needed. Sett's already a good deck. I mean, I think certain people just don't know how to use Sett very well, and I'm actually going to be making a Sett deck very soon. I'm going to be doing it. Because I don't know if I ever mentioned this, but I have this notebook here where I write down my decks and I like do changes to them, and like I just write down like during my games like, hey, I feel like I'm drawing too many spells or whatever else. Is a really big help. And if you ever have those issues, write them down on like a notepad or on your phone. It does really help you make the deck better and more consistent over time. But I've been wanting to make a Sett deck, and this is probably, I think, when it comes to just what the legend needs, the most perfect card to ever come out for a certain deck as of this date. Because in my head, it says when I'm played, buff me. So that means the moment he comes on the field, he's gonna be a 5 might unit for only 5 energy and 1 power, which is a good trade-off. But this is the thing. Before you attack, you can spend his buff, and he gets +4 might this turn. So technically he's a 5 energy, 1 power for 8 might. He can swing to a battlefield, win the battlefield, and then when he conquers it, he gets a buff back on him. And then whenever you pass your turn, your Sett's legend can actually defend him and keep him safe if they were to reconquer that battlefield, and you can redo it again. And I'm not even kidding when I say that. I think this is like a 2 or 3 of in a deck. I think this just makes Sett good. like even better than what he was. I love this card. I think this is just a really fun card. Plus, I like the flavor text, which is Mom always said I had her temper. I love Sett as like just a lore character. I think he's just really fun, and I love this card. Like I said, I'm a Leona player. I think that Leona card's amazing for the deck. I think it helps the deck so much. But this Sett card right here is gonna make this deck better. Like, this is exactly what they needed. I mean, he works with the champion legend, or the legend, really well. He's a great champion unit based off of might and like cost and everything. I think he's a fair cost for it to be a body. If this card was a 5 energy 2 power, it would have been rough, but it would still been okay because you can protect him using Sett's legend ability. So it's not as bad as like, like let's say like a snap vine that will just die, and then you had to recycle 2. But even at that point, like, I still think this card would be good. But for 5 energy, 1 might, for really a 8 might card, and then you can also protect him after he conquers, like, this is a great card. I also like the artwork on this card. I believe there's another version of this card. I'll put it up there if there is. I believe there's an alternate art, but right now I'm looking at the glowy golden one. Like, he looks like he's about to do his his 2 in the game. Great art, great card, and that will do it for today's reveals. I want to hear your opinions about them. As a Leona player, I loved today a lot. As a person, I was legit yesterday night about to build a Sett deck or start building it, just because I've been enjoying watching people play it. I was like, when I saw this this got revealed to us around like 3 o'clock today, or for my time, Central Time. I just loved it. So let me know how you feel about today's releases. Do you like them? Do you hate them? Do you think they're good? Do you think they're bad? Please just let me know. As always, take it easy, chill out, play some Riftbound, and I'll talk to you later.